On November 8th, Donald Trump stunned America and the world after defeating Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton to become the 45th President of the United States. For the past few weeks since the election, there have been over 400 incidents of racial slurs, bigoted harassments, and threats against minority groups in the name of the president-elect, from racist graffiti on houses of worship, toilet paper dispensers, and motor vehicles to verbal and physical intimidations through pictures and text messages posted on social media platforms. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, 32% of hate crimes were motivated by anti-immigrant sentiments, 23% reflected on blacks, 6% on Muslims, 11% on the LGBTQ community, 5% on women, and 12% on Jews. I asked a few Howard students and faculty about their opinion on what America's future would look like under Donald Trump's presidency and how it might affect them as minorities. I also asked them on their reaction over Trump's victory and the hate crimes that have been taking place since the election. Senior political science major and Black Lives Matter activist Clarence Allen says this.
The feeling that I got was comparable to being backed into a corner. It's a claustrophobic feeling, really. The racism, fascism, Islamophobia, xenophobia, sexism that we're seeing out of this candidate were expected, especially because of the way that his candidacy has been playing out. But to actually watch him achieve the highest political position in our land with no experience as a politician at all. This was his first job in politics. And he's one of the most powerful individuals on earth right now. The feeling was fear. Claustrophobia and fear. I worry.
Junior public relations major Jose Amador Medina hoped that Hillary Clinton would win the election, but it turned out to be the opposite. Medina's response?
Well, I think that initially it was a sensation of disbelief. I remember watching the election and watching the continuous updates as far as, electoral votes, and kind of thinking that eventually Hillary would come on top. I actually fell asleep thinking I'll wake up and everything's going to be fine. So when I woke up and I saw the verdict, it was very surreal, and I think that I had a sentiment of genuine sadness for what the outcome eventually was.
As for the hate crimes?
I think that it's a reflection of the tamed hate that this country had for so many years. I think that Trump's campaign spoke to people with a nostalgic sentiment towards the prejudice that this country has always, exuded, and now it's being illustrated, and it's being, I guess you can say visible, and now it's visible with the hate crimes that are occurring. So it's not something that's new, it's just something that was tamed, I feel.
In his first televised interview since the election, the president-elect told some of his supporters to stop harassing minorities, but some doubt that he would do little to protect minority groups from facing attacks. Howard PhD alum Mr. Kareem stated that the president-elect will not put his words into action.
I hope not. I hope it's just words. I hope it's just words. But, because politicians tell lies all the time to get elected, right?
Correct.
I would have expected it all to be lies, quite frankly. I expected it to be things that he just says to get in office, right? Because clearly, I just think that, the United States is made up of better than that. You know what I'm saying? Appealing to the baser nature, of people is, surprising, but in any case, I would have hoped make good on some of the divisive issues that he was bringing up, like, oppression of Muslims and oppression of Mexicans and oppression of immigrants in general, except his wife, right? Which speaks, quite frankly, of hypocrisy. So starting off, hey, we're going to crack down on the immigrants or whatever, but no, not my wife.
Donald Trump's election win is not just a concern for minorities in this country, but also for the global world. Senior journalism major Selena Klasses, an exchange student from Germany, believes that the diplomatic ties between her country and the United States may not be as positive as it is right now under Obama's presidency.
I think the relation won't be as good as it was with Obama, because they really were on the same level of politics and could talk with each other. So I think, it depends on what's happening next year at the elections in Germany, who will be elected then. But I think the relation won't be as good as it is now. So.
After his victory, Trump spoke before hundreds of cheering supporters, stating that he will become the president for all Americans. But the question is, will the first 4 years under his administration go smooth? And will he fulfill his promises once taking office? This is something we all should wait and see.